And another question I wanted to know about Minutemen and their activity, their degree of activity in Arizona today. So you can all speak to hate speech, but probably Isabel would be the best one to talk about the Minutemen.
I'll first deal with the issue of the Minutemen because that'll be short. The Minutemen launched in April of 2005. They were there for a month. We were there not because we wanted to see the show, but actually the old braceros came in buses from Hermosillo, Mexicali, and from Tucson to protest the Minutemen at the border in Naco in support of the new braceros. They were saying we're the old braceros supporting the new braceros. So we drove by there, and I have never in my life seen so many representatives of the media and the equipment and satellites and trucks. It was unbelievable. When I saw that, I knew we were in trouble. Other groups tried to laugh them off. Oh, they're just a joke. And I said, no, people need to pay attention all over this country. I went and spoke in Washington, D.C. a couple of months later saying, you know, the Minutemen came and they will impact your work in the state of Washington. They'll impact your work in New York City. And like I said, dicho y hecho, it's done. The Minutemen were catapulted. As Congressman Raul Grijalva said, they were received in Congress like conquering heroes. The result of that was HB 4437, the infamous Sensenbrenner bill. That came as a result of the Minutemen. The Minutemen don't receive that much attention because they have already completed their mission. They have created hundreds of PACs, political action committees, in this country. They have formed anti-immigrant caucuses. The rise, and I guess then we'll go to the next little thing, the rise of hate groups in this country is really, really disturbing. Southern Poverty Law Center, you should see, I think their latest issue that documents the growth of these hate groups, many of them, of course, tied to the whole immigration issue. So the issue of hate speech is very important to us right now. We don't have a fairness doctrine anymore. Those of us that are old enough to remember a fairness doctrine. We have the right wing controlling, I believe, so much of the media that the general public listens to, and I don't even want to call them journalists. I wouldn't call Glenn Beck or, you know, Dobbs or any of those guys journalists, what I used to consider journalists. And of course, they've been very responsible for the fervor in our country. A lot of people say you can't criticize hate speech. I'm an ACLU member, and I represent, you know, and I believe any speech is permitted. But we have to question ourselves. Is that really what we stand for? That we can actually have hate speech? That speech we're trying to pretend is not limited? Speech is limited. Speech is limited. If you recall WTO protest in Seattle, they said, oh yeah, you have free speech rights, but way over there. In Tucson, Arizona, where we had 20,000, 15,000 people, they let 6 racists be in the middle of our event, and they call that free speech. While they were burning flags, threatening to throw fire at us, and on and on and on. That speech is protected, and other speech is not. So the issue of hate speech is very important. It has formed a lot of the misconceptions that Americans have about immigrants. And if we don't come to grips with that, and our role in impacting the media, then we will be nowhere. The move to remove Dobbs was very, very important for that reason, but of course they continue. They impact our students, they impact everybody. They may not be laws that are being introduced, but yet that racism spills over. So the issue of hate speech is one that that we're very concerned with, especially because those of us that are liberal-minded, progressive-minded, are very cautious about any limitations on speech. But clearly, speech has to be limited so that you cannot engender violence against other people and that kind of hatred.